welcome, 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 welcome. All right, it's been a while. Might be a while again. Kind of a busy time. Busy time, busy time. Two phrases I want to discuss today. One is listen to your gut. Listen to your gut. It's one of them. The other one is empty yourself. Yes, I chose these phrases together on purpose. You might you might be thinking how those could possibly be related to listen to your gut and also to empty yourself. I wonder what they're talking about. What does it mean? What? What is that? I think it's interesting. So, I want to really point out the contradictions here. That's my main objective, actually. So on one hand, it's everything is all about you. It's you. But then on another hand, we've got this other grouping of words, such as empty yourself, that has to do with not you. So if you've studied mindfulness and the whole cult of mindfulness, extra ness in there for the ness of mindfulness. There's a whole cult culture around that. It's not just culture; it's culty culture. Around mindfulness, and empty yourself is obviously one of the phrases of that process. Well, how can you? What are you being mindful of? What are you holding on to? What are you grasping? What are you letting go of? It's very interesting. It's contradictory. It's confusing. But let's go ahead and start with listen to your gut. I'm a literal guy. I see an image of a stomach. I see intestines. This is what comes to my mind when I hear listen to your gut. Interestingly, they say something having a guttural response, which is really funny because that's not what, I don't think they know what guttural means. Kind of just a side comment there. But gut, listen to your gut. Well, what does your gut say? How does your gut say anything at all? So, circumstance, you're in a situation, and your stomach, your gut, does something in response to that situation. Let me break this down. Let's break it down. Why did your gut do something? What made it have some type of action that you would need to listen to? So let's connect this to something maybe related, maybe unrelated, but we'll see. Let's connect this to the law. Okay? I got the law. Let's just simple law such as murder. Murder is against the law for now, and in most states. Apparently, there's a couple of states that murder is perfectly legal, or mostly legal. But let's just keep it simple. Murder's illegal. Okay. Is murder illegal because of the consequences, or is it morally illegal? Why is murder illegal? Is it the end justifies the means, or is it justice? Is it part of some objective reality that murder should be illegal? Think about that, because this is a chicken or the egg kind of situation. Is murder illegal because it should be illegal, regardless of the consequences, or is murder only illegal because of the consequences? Okay. Now, take those thoughts and connect them back to listen to your gut. Your gut is never the origin of anything. Your gut, both literally and even metaphorically, your gut is the processor of either the consequence of an emotional. It's reacting, right? It's only reacting. It's not creating anything. Your gut creates nothing, except some guts create food for others. I guess some people eat sheep belly or whatever. I don't know. Pork belly, chitlins, stuff like that, right? Apart from that, the gut is not creating anything. It creates food sometimes, but in context of what we're talking about, the gut is a reactor. The gut is a reactor, okay? The gut is just simply reacting. It's reacting to food that it's processing. It's reacting in the metaphor. It's reacting to information based on something else. And that's my point. What is this something else? And why is that not at the forefront of the conversation? Why is the consequence, or why is it that we're listening to the reaction rather than listening to the source? And I am going to suggest for you to look into that, question that, be very suspicious of what a beautiful thing. This water is so smooth, beautiful. All right, it's important. There's a very important lesson here, and I'm not gonna fully expound on it. I'd like you to think for yourself. Think, why is there a phrase that suggests that we direct our attention and source our decision making on a reaction to something causing us to be reactive, rather than the proactive, decisive attention to the objective? I'm going to proclaim that there is a reason for this. It's not circumstantial. It's not just an accident. Okay, it's on purpose. There's definitely a reason why. Wow. There's a reason why. Okay? There's a reason why. There's a big old yawn. This happens to me in the morning. All right. So, listen to your gut. Your gut is getting its reactions from somewhere else. I would say, namely, from your beliefs. Okay? There is some level of subconscious fuel that would cause your gut to react a certain way, if we're discussing the metaphor of a gut reaction. It's based on certain principle beliefs that are held at your most core level. The things that are the source of prejudice in a lot of ways, right? So technically, to tell somebody to listen to their gut is also a means to tell somebody to be prejudiced. It's in, for all intents and purposes, telling somebody to listen to their gut is like telling somebody to be prejudiced. Okay? Think about that. Feel free to comment, reply. Feel free. But I think that that's an interesting component of listen to your gut. Trying to think about it in a couple of different ways. See how else it might be able to be broken down. But that's all I've got for now on that one. Listen to your gut. Your gut knows. Well, I'm starting to get a little suspicious though. Based on culture, based on the culture that I'm seeing, pop culture, pop psychology, I'm actually wondering if listen to your gut is even something that people say anymore. I certainly have it on my list of phrases that I think are ridiculous. But now, as I think about it, I'm starting to wonder if it's not got great ties to the past in regards to an acknowledgement of moral absolutes that exist in the hearts and minds and or guts of everyone. And that's what that phrase indicates, is that you have a moral conscience, which to say that somebody has a moral conscience is hate speech. Yeah. At least according to culture. And then, of course, people will, in addition to that, even though that if that's not destructive enough, people will argue what is even conscience. What does that even mean? Conscience doesn't even exist in some people's minds, so on and so on. Whatever. All right. So listen to your gut. Actually, as much as I dislike the phrase, it could have value in as much as it is still a memorial or something. It's an indication that there's a belief in a conscience, which the whole concept of conscience is, as I said, antiquated, obsolete. You are obsolete. For those of you that have no idea why I keep saying you are obsolete like that, watch The Twilight Zone. I forget the title of that one, but it's like Obsolete Man or something. But it's good. It's good. I will be, if I'm not already, I will be that obsolete man, questioning how it is, how things have come to where they are. I don't know, but the obsolete man is great. it's a great telling of our dystopian future. Well, how do you know it's going to be dystopian? It's not going to be utopian. Anyway, all right, so listen to your gut. Okay, now we're going to talk about empty yourself. So listen to your gut. Obviously, the more comical way of looking at listen to your gut is the rumblings in the tumblings. Though, like Winnie the Pooh. Yep, you got it right. The rumblings that take place, right, in a more literal sense, when your belly's doing its job and it's telling you something. That helps us move on to the next phrase. Empty yourself. Well, yeah. Dr. Oz would say so 3 times a day. Obviously, not everybody has a gut like that man. I'm just kidding, guys. But I'm also not. So listen to your gut so you can empty yourself. It's good advice. It's good advice. In its proper context, that's not what they're talking about. I'm gonna say that that's how it should be relegated, but we'll go on. Empty yourself. What are they talking about? Well, unfortunately, they're not talking about listening to their gut so that they can empty themselves in the proper place, as it were. They're talking about something very different. I picked these phrases on purpose, but I think that they are quite opposite. I think that one is obviously talking about searching within for what can't be better explained than the word conscience. I think that that's what that first one's all about. And then empty yourself is a denial that conscience is a thing. Empty yourself is to indicate that you know nothing and that you must remove all judgment, all wisdom, all conscience, all understanding, and be a recipient for all that you may or may not have had within your own mind, brain, gut, whatever. Empty yourself, which means deny everything except the opposite, I suppose. You could hypothetically be in a circumstance where you, a coincidence, I should say, where you get to accept something that was previously held to. You're in a room that's the color red. You empty yourself. You forget that red is red. And you open your eyes. You've emptied yourself. The first thing you see is the color red. You're pretty sure that the name for this color is still red. So you do your best to empty yourself, but you're like, okay, I guess I'll still call this red, and that's fine. But then we change the context. You are in a red room. We're going to call it red, just for sake of argument. But you're not alone. You're in this room that's red. You empty yourself. You open your eyes. You look. And you're with someone. And they say, the room is blue. And the room is green. And the room is not a room at all. The room is actually the whole universe. Okay? And that's what this person says to you. And because you've appropriately emptied yourself, you have afforded yourself the opportunity for a much larger understanding and acceptance of things that you never thought you could accept. But because you've done the appropriate thing of emptying yourself, you can now receive anything. On purpose. Willfully. So you open your eyes, the room is blue and it's green and it's actually the whole universe. Okay. So that's what it now becomes. Because you emptied yourself. That's just one example. I don't know what the value is of that specifically. So let's look at it in a different way. Empty yourself. Okay. Let's draw it out. Draw it out. I am because I can think I know I am. So I think, therefore I am. We've talked about this before. If you empty yourself, though, you can purposely doubt that you even are, as a benefit of the concept of emptying yourself. If you empty yourself appropriately and significantly enough, you can get to the heightened or depth, whichever way you want to look at it, you can get to the point where you no longer even know if you are, because you've emptied yourself. You're literally opening the door, trying to force everything out so that you can receive. So, keep going. Empty yourself as an idea indicates that there is value outside of yourself. That's starting to sound like hate speech. I hope you're following me, because it takes a little bit of a little gymnastics to get here, but I want you to listen carefully. When you say empty yourself, you are indicating that you need to receive something else. Indicating that you need to receive something else indicates that there could be something of value that you don't have. And when I sarcastically say that there could be value there, I'm only partially being sarcastic. I'm also being very serious. Empty yourself indicates that there is value outside of yourself that you probably should receive and make yourself available for. Indicating that there's something besides you that's of value, that's what I'm calling hate speech. Let's be consistent. Let's be logically consistent, guys. Even though we don't believe in logic, we should still be logically consistent, right? All right. Think about it. It's quality stuff. So, if empty yourself is actually hateful because it indicates that you are not the source of all answers, and that there is a source of answers outside of yourself, we're starting to sound extremely inconsistent. Okay? Empty yourself indicates that you don't have all the answers. That's not sounding very good, guys. That doesn't match up with our belief that you are everything. That doesn't match up with autonomy. Okay? That doesn't match up with you believing that you are God. It just doesn't jive. So, some of these phrases, they're not really surviving the test that at least the test that I'm applying. That's interesting. I bet you never thought of that phrase that way. I didn't. Not until this very moment in time did I understand that phrase in the way that I just broke it down. I hate that phrase. I think it was stupid. But now that I've further dissected the phrase "empty yourself," I think I've learned how to find value where value was almost void. I really thought that there was no value in that phrase, and I think I found it. It's the fact that it indicates that there is something outside of you, which is madness, obviously. There's meaning and there's value outside of your own brain. Are you kidding me? And that is why, inherently, those phrases are contradictory at their core, but they both indicate something that's abhorrent to those woke people. Those whom are woke will definitely find great displeasure in hearing what I'm saying right now. That listen to your gut indicates conscience, and that's disgusting, obviously, that somebody could have a conscience. Ugh, I mean, that is hate speech, right? And that empty yourself indicates that there is truth or value or quality outside of you, and that is hate speech. They're so opposite, but they speak to the exact same value. It's very, very interesting, guys. It's very interesting. I'm gonna close on that note. I don't want to muddy that any more than let that sit with you. Enjoy.